So I think that's my intent as well. We'll just keep this a short conversation first, where I can set up the nomenclature and we can speak the same language. And then once that happens, we'll just directly jump into Q&A. And we've got like a short presentation that we have. Apurva, can you just enable screen sharing for me and I'll take it ahead?
Okay, Arul, I'll just do it. Give me a while. Arul, now can you do it? Please check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sharing my screen, guys.
Yeah.
Yep. So the thought process today is just to have a quick overview of what the metaverse or metaverses is/are, and then jump into answering some questions that you might have, right? So I'll just keep this presentation very short, quick 10 minutes, and then we'll jump into Q&A. All right. So firstly, what is like the metaverse? There are many definitions of the metaverse out there, and the fact that we are all on a Zoom call speaking to each other over the internet is one kind of sort of loose definition of what the metaverse is. But broadly speaking, metaverse is your identity in the digital world. Now the reality of life is that there are multiple digital worlds out there. And most of those digital worlds are already things that we are participating in, right? Like, for example, there is one digital world that exists on Reddit, another one that exists on Facebook, another one on Twitter, and for that matter, another one on this Zoom call where we are interacting, right? In each of those digital worlds, you can choose to have different identities for all practical purposes. Like the Adil Patel in real life can be very different from my Twitter profile, which is Duldul 1989, or can be very different from my Reddit profile, or can be very different from a gaming profile that I might have, right? And effectively in the metaverse, you interact with other people either an augmented reality or like a virtual reality, right? So with and all of these things were actually coined in a usually famous book called as Snow Crash, way back in 1960s, and that's where the term metaverse comes in from. So broadly speaking, the metaverse is essentially this new world where you can exist in and interact in. Now, because you exist over there, you can choose to have a different or the same identity in that world, and then of course with that identity you can interact with people in there, right? Now that we are talking about, now we're seeing that there are these multiple different metaverses, these multiple different universes that you can exist in. These metaverses can be decentralized, and when we say decentralized, these are public, open, available to anyone and everyone to come in. And because these are decentralized and they are built on top of blockchain and crypto, you can use things like NFTs and of course local currencies in those metaverses that are built on top of the blockchain to interact and transact and cross function with people. In the same time, or in the same way, there can be centralized metaverses, and the example of that I gave already is, for example, Fortnite, which is a gaming company, is building its own multiplayer game, which is like a centralized metaverse. Facebook, of course, is like one of the largest metaverses out there. So is Twitter, and so on and so forth, right? And broadly, decentralized metaverses are also virtual worlds where you meet and interact and so on and so forth, do it with people. Now, the reason why they're called as centralized is because the company that's running it has a lot of control over what you can do, what you can't do, and how do you do those things, right? For example, if you're playing a game on Fortnite, you will, buy things from Fortnite. If you are interacting on Facebook, you will see the ads that Facebook offers you, right? On the other end, in decentralized metaverses like Mana or Decentraland, there are products that you can create, that you can purchase from others, and Mana or Decentraland just provides the underlying platform or the infrastructure on which you can do this, right? And because we are talking. Yeah. Yeah. So because we are talking about the metaverse and the infrastructure on the metaverse, it might be interesting to just talk about how on which layer this internet stack is built on. So of course, at the core layer there is 5G, Wi-Fi, and so on and so forth technologies. Then there is the human interface, which is like we are talking right now, like I'm talking via the computer and so on and so forth. Then of course it's a matter of whether this interaction happens in a central way or a decentralized way. Then post that, when we talk about spatial computing, we are saying that whether this interaction is happening via the 2D screen or are we doing this via VR, AR, and so on and so forth. And post that point, effectively, what exists is a world where you can be. Once you're in that world, of course, because it's a public open world, there can be people with whom you can do buying and selling and trading and transactions, right? This is where there is this entire creator economy comes in. Of course, if there are people buying, selling, trading, and transacting, there needs to be marketplaces and discovery platforms where all of this happens. And lastly, a lot of these metaverses also focus on the user experience to make sure that your life and your work over there is kind of sort of happening in sync, and the experience is seamless. World over, thousands of companies are working on different formats of the metaverse across different stacks, whether it be discovery, it be economy, it be computing, it be infrastructure, and so on and so forth. And effectively, people ask the question that is, when will we be interacting in the metaverse? You can clearly see that the metaverse is already there. We've just started to coin it differently now. And of course, there are lots of now interesting things happening in the metaverse, right? Like, for example, there have been a bunch of marriages now in the metaverse. Like for example, you can see these two folks and like a beautiful couple that got married in the metaverse itself, and they've been dancing on stage over there. Manchester City has built out the Etihad Stadium in the metaverse, and they plan to host actual football tournaments over there. Gucci has opened up a store. H&M has opened up a store where you can go in and literally shop for outfits and bags and products that your digital identities in that relevant metaverse can own. And just like how you can do that, you can of course go to a bank and kind of sort of withdraw cash from a bank. And JP Morgan has built out its own kind of sort of virtual bank in the decentralized metaverse, right? So what we are seeing now is that if you go back over here, over the last few kinds of years or so, we've been building out on this stack, and now finally we are over here in the experience discovery and kind of sort of creator economy, where things have started to materialize, where you have this almost human experience that is being rebuilt over the internet in the metaverse, right? And since we've been speaking about this, people of course ask, how can I participate in now this experience and this creator economy and this discovery process on the metaverse, right? So you can of course end up participating by buying and selling unique assets. In fact, we've got designers at Mudrex who are creating NFT collections and skins and even cars that will work on Decentraland. You can literally buy virtual property in the metaverse. We ourselves have been thinking of building out an HQ in the metaverse now. You can earn money by buying, selling, trading NFTs or unique skins in the metaverse. You can shop just like how you shop for your real self in the real world. You can go out and buy stuff for yourself in the metaverse. You can buy outfits, you can buy clothing, and so on and so forth. There is of course entertainment that happens in the metaverse. You can literally watch a football match, as I was telling you regarding the Etihad Stadium. Gaming, of course, is like the huge use case that's there in metaverse. And then once people are there, of course, there'll be advertisement, there'll be socialization. You can literally end up working, and so on and so forth. Like I said, the possibilities are truly endless. And the way that you would want to think about it is that whatever is happening in the actual real world, a lot of those same kind of sort of interactions will continue to happen in the digital world, except that the experience itself will be slightly different and slightly unique, and that is what will push the envelope and truly enable new transactions over the internet. And of course, like the other way that you can participate is purchase crypto tokens and kind of sort of work with the upside over there. To the extent that we've kind of sort of created a metaverse coin set on Mudrex that helps you invest in these tokens, that has some of these very popular projects that have been working on the metaverse. For example, Mana is the native currency on Decentraland, Sand is the token that helps you buy the land in Decentraland. Alice, Axis, and Illuvium are games that are in the metaverse. Engine is an NFT marketplace, so is Earn. And YGG is essentially a platform that helps you create and monetize and build out, skins and tokens in the metaverse. So yeah, so that's like a short summary of everything that's been happening in the metaverse. I would love to just open the floor up to questions and just speak to you guys and try and understand how are you guys planning and thinking about, or have questions about the metaverse. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, Edul, thank you so much for basically making the session so informative and in such a short span of time. I think it has been very interactive and very good for our users also. Just one question, Edul, like you just told about the metaverse coin sets, right? So if I see that, I think it is as a person who wants to invest in metaverse. So if rather I choose to invest in a one project, it is always good for me to invest maybe in a crypto coin set that is based on metaverse theme, because it will compile all the
yeah. See, effectively you can do, if you're just talking about investing in the metaverse, you can do different things, right? You can go out and buy NFTs, you can go out and buy literal virtual land. Although please don't do that with a lot of your money and don't sell your house and do it. But that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is you can invest in tokens that are creating projects, and you can go ahead and do your own research and read about individual tokens. The purpose of the metaverse coin set is to help people who are bullish on the metaverse invest in one single product without having to go ahead with the entire overhead of doing their own research and figuring out what they want to do, what they don't want to do, and so on and so forth. And broadly, that's essentially the purpose of our entire CoinSets product, that we help you invest without doing a lot of the overhead of trading and investing. So we try and make it easy, but of course, if you want to do your own research and go ahead and work on it, please feel free to do it.
Okay. Thank you, Edul, for this answer. And one more question, Edul. Like we spoke so much about basically metaverse right now. I just wanted to ask you how real it is going to be, Edul, or it'll be just like a game, or how it'll be really like for the people who have so high expectations from the metaverse.
Yeah, so I think the way I would want to think about it is that I want to think about how the web has evolved, right? Like Web 1.0 was effectively read only, where you would go read information on Wikipedia, look at a Yahoo list, or buy things on the Amazon. Web 2.0 was when things started to get really social, and when we actually saw like the first version of the metaverse come out, right? Like the chat rooms came out, and Facebook came out, and Twitter came out, and it did seem real in some sense, whereas I was able to talk to a person, communicate with them, but of course it wasn't real in the sense that I couldn't see them, I couldn't feel them, I couldn't really experience them, and so on and so forth. And with a lot of what's happening with computing in general is that the world is moving more and more towards making this experience real, and we've moved from messaging to voice call to video call to now having full-blown avatars on the metaverse, right? So how real it is truly depends on what you mean real is, and the only thing that I can for sure tell you is that these experiences will actually become more and more attuned to our senses as we move ahead. We move from text to typing to actually seeing and hearing, and as technology evolves, it will become more and more experiential as things move ahead. So that's what I know for sure.
Okay, definitely, Edul. So Edul, we also have few questions in our chat box. I think Rudresh Kalyani has basically posted a question. She has written here that do we have any ETF exclusively with respect to metaverse?
Well, broadly, the metaverse coin set is built along the lines of an ETF.
Yeah.
ETFs in the traditional sense don't exist because, of course, crypto is still yet to be regulated to the depth that it has. But to emulate that, we built out the CoinSets product. All our CoinSets are basically loosely built on the same lines as an ETF, where you go out and buy a particular basket. That basket in itself goes out and purchases individual tokens.
Okay. Thank you, Edul. So Edul, a few more questions we have lined up here. One is by Yash. He's basically asking, what's your view on the edtech adoption of metaverse?
Actually, a lot of this is already happening, right? Like a ton of people today learn by looking at YouTube videos, right? And a ton of people learn by doing virtual classes. And I think the real power of the metaverse is to provide the same experience. When you traditionally talk about in the sense of metaverse, provide the experience that a student and a teacher have in like a classroom, but over the internet. And once you can start offering that experience, what you can truly do is you can literally learn from anyone anywhere across the world, right? And think about what that does for countries like India, where we've got a paucity of great teachers and we've got a paucity of great institutions, right? Like think about an IIT where millions of people can suddenly learn from, and there is no lack of opportunity, because as soon as that opportunity availability becomes there, education becomes available, and that truly is what will help us advance to the next level, right? So all of these possibilities open up, because now you are no longer confined to the problems of the physical world, and that's actually why the theme of metaverse is so powerful. Like you're no longer confined to a room where you can only seat 20 students. You can have a virtual classroom with thousands of students participating, but at the same time, all of them can feel like they are getting personal attention and personal info. In fact, for that matter, if you go to the JP Morgan Bank on Decentraland, Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, personally welcomes you. In reality, of course, he can't do that, but in the metaverse, he can at least try and do that. And give you an experience of that personalized touch, and that's something that's really not possible. So of course, huge opportunities, not only in edtech, but in all such spaces where this human connection is important, and that human experience is what helps us grow and move ahead.
Okay, Edul. So Edul, few more questions. I think we'll have to keep you waiting here. So one more question that I wanted to basically come up with, one of our participants just asked, suppose I choose to invest in metaverse theme, Edul. So should I go for the Facebook stocks or the crypto projects? What would be your suggestion?
Like these are, so effectively think of it this way, that metaverse is not just one set of stocks, right? Like these are it's an evolving setup. You have metaverse projects that are working in the Web2 world, that are public companies, like for example, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Fortnite, and Microsoft, and so on and so forth, right? Like a lot of that is happening. All of those things are also happening on the crypto side of the world. So if you're bullish on crypto, and if you genuinely think that crypto is how the world should be, then you would want to stick on this side. But if you think that crypto is justified and it will go away, traditional companies make things better, you would want to go on the other side. I personally am kind of on both sides. I'm kind of sort of a long-term hopeful guy, which is why I'm there in crypto. But at the same time, there are a lot of these companies that are doing a lot of really good work, and that's why I participate in both sides of the coin.
Okay. Edul, so Anand has asked one question from us. Basically, he's, I think, inquisitive about it. He just asked that what sort of evolution will it take for easy adoption of metaverse, basically?
So I think the problems over there are very different. And when we say truly adoption of metaverse, what we are saying is that there is this technology or product that users will end up using so that they can participate in this experience sharing that's happening over the internet. To be honest, mobile phones have actually done really well to get us into the metaverse to quite some extent. Like billions of people use the mobile phone to do video calls, billions of people use it to play games, and so on and so forth. But for that true immersive experience, we need a technology that will help us go further and further and further. And things like Oculus and so on and so forth are solving for that as time progresses, right? So we will need to have devices that we can use. We will need to have experiences that people will want. More often than not, there needs to also be utility on the metaverse to solve for it, right? Today, utility is entertainment, but in the future, utility will end up being access and information, right? Exactly what the analogy that we are trying to give with education. Imagine if the world's best teachers can come together and teach you on the metaverse. Why will you go to a school and not join the metaverse? Why will you pay fees for an expensive college and rather not buy a device and get access to that information via the metaverse? So it is those use cases that need to be built out, the killer app or the killer product, as people say, that need to be built out. And those are being built out. Today, those killer apps and killer products are games and entertainment. In the future, it will be services and utility and the human experience.
Okay, so Errol, thank you for giving us the insight. But like I said, few more questions coming up on your way.
Absolutely.
So Ashish has just asked that what's your view on buying, people buying virtual land worth millions on basically metaverse platforms? What's your view?
Well, I mean, see, I look at it from two perspectives. On the one end, there is speculation, and the speculative land buying has been happening since ages, right? Like you can even today go out and buy land in like a tier 3 city, with the fact that there will be a road that will pass by and that will help you grow the value of that land 10x or something like that, right? So on the one end, there is that speculative land buying. Very similar happens in the metaverse world as well, where you're saying that a lot of people are going to come in and end up buying. And effectively, that speculation is always driven by demand supply. You expect that demand of this land will go up because of XYZ reasons, and as a result, you end up buying. And that's the exact same thing that's happening in platforms like Decentraland, where you can end up buying literal boxes of land next to popular stores, and where you can create your own house or like a NFT art gallery or a theater or a store or whatever. And that's one part. The other part of buying land in the metaverse is to actually do trade. Like you buy land as commercial property to open a shop. You can literally do this exact same thing in Decentraland. You can open up, let's say, as I showed you, like an H&M gallery where people can buy outfits from. So it actually depends on what purpose you're thinking from. There's of course a lot of speculation going in. As what's true with all speculative products, please don't end up investing all your money in this. That will not be the right thing to do in reality. But of course, it's all very interesting, and not only from an investment perspective, but also as an early adopter into this ecosystem, that the experience is something that I would look forward to.
Yes, definitely, Arun. So one more question, Arun, for you on your way. That Manit has just asked that why metaverse as a concept looks quite basically it looks interesting, but why it is basically having so many categories and different sorts. Why we can't simply transact with Bitcoin or Ethereum there and make it simple?
So Manit, that's a great question, and the answer is actually you can, and more and more as more and more such projects come up that are fungible and that work across each other, you will be able to use multiple of these currencies to do the transactions over there. Currently, they are limited with what the platform offers, but as things open up, you will 100% end up having the ability to do this in these platforms.
So I think Manit, Edul has answered your question.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe Mudrex will open up a forex exchange in Decentraland to help you also.
Soon. So Edul, can we expect basically life like Matrix in next 20 years? People just like living like metaverse, living in metaverse basically.
A lot of people already are, Apurva. You would be surprised at the amount of time people spend just staring at their screens, right? So a lot of people already are living their lives here, but from an experience perspective, whether it end up being a Matrix copy or not, I'm not sure. Whether it'll end up being in 20 years or 200, I'm not sure. But we are definitely getting there. If you look at how technology has evolved, what essentially we've tried to do is we've tried to recreate as many of our kind of human senses via the internet as much as we can. We started with text and type, and now we are moving more and more towards experiences. So it will happen, and I'm hopeful of that. But yeah, it's going to take some time.
Okay, so one question last from my side, Edul, before we wrap up the session. Just wanted to ask, we all know about this, Edul, that about the Google Glass technology that came years back. And that point of time, basically the hype that it created didn't really work well. But today I see people are really raving about metaverse. They have started believing in it. So that change is visible. What do you think is the reason behind it?
So I think essentially it's a matter of technology adoption, and of course the experience needs to become better and better. And effectively there are different times as to when this happened. Right? Google Glass was a very early technology and maybe sold a few thousand units, but now Oculus has come up that's sold a few million units, and in the future we'll have similar such products that will come up that would have sold similar kind of sort of units, right? So I think this is ongoing, and in all points in time there are some technologies that are way too ahead of its time, and maybe time catches up to them soon. So that just happens. Apurva, there are actually a lot of questions around coin sets and so on and so forth in chat. Maybe we can just go through them rapid fire.
Yes, I'll just basically go through it.
Yeah, I'm actually just reading through them, and we'll just rapid fire go through them.
Yeah,
so we'll start with Udit is asking what's the minimum you can invest in a coin set. Udit, that's $10. Yash asked about EdTech. We've already answered that. I want to invest. Then Pranjal asked, I want to invest in Metaverse theme. Should I invest? We've already answered that. Then there is evolution, easy adoption, Metaverse. We've answered that. Thanks a lot, Yash, for that comment back. I just read it. So that adoption of education via 3D, we can sort of answer that, and happy to chat offline with you later for more detail. Satya is asking, what's the fee charge of investing in Metaverse coin set on Mudrex? Satya, it's free. We don't charge you anything. Having said that, whenever the transaction happens, there are of course trading fees that are involved. They end up being 0.1 to 0.2% per transaction, so it's a lot lower. Amruta is saying investing in coin sets, which she's already answered. What is your view on people buying virtual land? We've answered that. Manit's question we've answered. And I think that's actually about it. All right, guys, I think this will end up quickly.
Yes, Edul, we have Harshal question. I think he has posted something. Can we see SIP option in coin sets?
Harshal, by Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you'll see that by Tuesday.
We have it then quite soon, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yes, Edul, I think we have answered most of the questions and majority all of it. I'll just check it, and maybe if we have missed on something, we'll get back to the participants and we'll continue chatting. So yeah, thank you, Harshal. Yeah, it's cool to have you as well. So Edul, thank